Okay, hi everyone. So today we're going to be talking about sleep at Stanford. And so first we're going to introduce all the speakers. So I'm Yoshi Nakachi. I'm a sophomore.
I'm Emma Wong. I'm a senior.
I'm Akangshita. I'm a grad student.
I'm Emily. I'm a sophomore.
And yeah, so today we're just going to talk about sleep at Stanford and a bunch of sort of things that affect sleep at Stanford. So to first start, we're just going to talk about sleep deprivation and specifically sleep deprivation at Stanford. So sleep deprivation at Stanford, looking at all colleges throughout the US and worldwide, up to 60% of students have poor sleep quality, and then 7.7% of that 60% have an insomnia disorder that has been medically qualified. And so sleep deprivation is a very alarming issue for college students around the world. And so what we've seen here is that these are one of like the three of the main causes that show up with sleep deprivation. And so the first one is just academic pressure. Students feel very pressured to get through tests and homework very quickly and to sacrifice sleep to finish their work. And we see that a lot here at Stanford because going through a quarter system, a lot of work and tests are stacked up against us. So cramming is very routine here, and a lot of people do it. And people sacrifice sleep because they don't really put too much thought to it. And leading into our second point, where social obligations are also something that affects sleep, where a lot of students have outside events and other things like that, such as like social gatherings and events or frat parties or anything like that. And these events sometimes take away from sleep because they want to go to these events rather than sleep. And so the sacrifice is where the problem becomes an issue. And leading still to social obligations is extracurriculars. A lot of students on campus at Stanford participate in extracurriculars involving maybe sports or clubs or anything like that, like women in business, women in STEM, anything like that. And so all these extracurriculars take time. And so when students are planning their schedule out, sometimes they forget to plan out all of their sleep. And so they sacrifice their sleep to do all of these cool things. And so going past sleep deprivation, I pass it on to the next speaker.
Hello, I'm going to be talking about what sleep is, how it works, and the importance of sleep in regulating our lives. So sleep is a naturally occurring state of mind and body that is very distinctive from wakefulness. It's characterized by an altered consciousness, relatively inhibited sensory activity, reduced muscle activity, and inhibition of nearly all voluntary muscles. And the different stages of sleep, as we might very well know, are divided into REM sleep and non-REM sleep. In non-REM sleep, there's stage 1, 2, 3. And in stage 1 is the lighter stage of sleep where we kind of like drift in and out of consciousness and can be awakened very easily. In stage 2, our eye movement stops and our brain waves become slower with occasional bursts of rapid waves. And in stage 3, it's the deep sleep stage. It's really hard to wake someone up during this stage, and it's when the body does most of its repair and regeneration, as we'll talk about in the next section. Then we have REM sleep, or rapid eye movement, where 90% of dreaming occurs. Our eyes, in the name, move very rapidly, and although our bodies are paralyzed, our brain activity is very high and resembles that of being awake. And several common sleep disorders include insomnia, as mentioned before, which is difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, and sleep apnea, which is a pretty serious sleeping disorder where the body kind of um, value sleeping more than breathing. So you stop breathing for a bit and then you start breathing again. And then you have narcolepsy, which is a condition characterized by an extreme tendency to fall asleep whenever you're in a relaxing situation. And then restless leg syndrome, which is a disorder caused by an uncontrollable urge to move the legs, usually, sorry, due to an uncomfortable sensation. And this slide is talking about the importance of sleep in improving our lives. As you can see, the yin and yang sign in the middle, and this is like a model of, or one of the models of sleep and dreams, which is your life is reflected in your sleep, and then your sleep is a reflection of your life. So sleep has high order cognitive functions that impacts your learning and your memory. It has restorative functions, which regulates brain metabolism, metabolic waste removal, and of course, this all goes into affecting your emotional well-being. Lack of sleep can contribute to chronic mood disorders such as depression and anxiety.
So, as we've established, students, especially here at Stanford, tend to not prioritize their sleep and suffer from a serious lack of sleep. So, the question arises, what happens if we don't get enough sleep? And why is sleep deprivation a problem? The most important reason why sleep deprivation causes an issue in our lives is because of a concept referred to as sleep debt. Sleep debt is the cumulative effect of not getting enough sleep, or in other words, it's the difference between the amount of sleep you need and the amount you actually get. For instance, imagine you need 8 hours of sleep per night, but only get 6. Each night, you accumulate 2 hours of sleep debt. In this case, each week, you would accumulate 14 hours of sleep debt. This can add up significantly, impacting your overall health and daily functioning. This is scary because even if you go to sleep a few minutes, say 30 minutes later than you normally would for, say, 3 days, you have accumulated an hour and a half of sleep debts that will now negatively affect your well being. Now, you must be asking, how does sleep debts negatively affect our lives? Well, the accumulation of sleep debts has significant effects on our health, well being, and safety. First, it impairs our cognitive functions. The lack of sleep impairs functions such as memory, attention, and the ability to learn new information. It can lead to decreased performance at work or school, making it difficult to focus and complete tasks efficiently. It also reduces alertness and concentration, making tasks more difficult and increasing the likelihood of errors. It also negatively impacts decision making skills, problem solving abilities, and creativity. Second, it impacts our physical health. Chronic sleep debt weakens the immune system's defenses, making you more susceptible to illnesses. It's also linked to various cardiovascular issues such as hypertension, heart disease, and stroke. It also disrupts metabolic processes affecting hormones that regulate hunger and appetite, often leading to weight gain and obesity. Third, it also impacts our mental health. Lack of sleep is strongly associated with mood disorders. It increases the body's stress hormone levels, contributing to a heightened stress response. Poor sleep makes it harder to regulate emotions, leading to irritability and increased emotional sensitivity. Over time, sleep debt can contribute to serious mental health issues, including depression and anxiety. Last but certainly not least, sleep debt causes significant safety risks. Sleep deprivation largely increases the risk of motor vehicle accidents due to impaired judgment and slower reaction times, comparable to driving under the influence of alcohol. This brings me to the motto of our class. This motto, drowsiness is red alert, serves as a reminder that in situations where you need to be awake and alert, for example, when driving a car, feeling drowsy should be a dramatic warning to take action and rest. Simply being in a drowsy state, which is caused by an accumulation of sleep debt, should be enough of a warning for you to take a break, maybe even take a nap, and only resume driving when you feel alert enough to focus.
Getting enough sleep is crucial, and there are a few simple ways to improve your sleep quality, which can be used by any student at Stanford. First, try to avoid using devices before bedtime. The light from your devices can disrupt your circadian rhythm and really mess with your ability to fall asleep. Maintaining a consistent sleep routine is also important. Getting exposed to light at the right times can really help set up a regular schedule. But don't feel pressured. While it's good to sync your schedule with the sun, don't stress if that's not always possible for you. As long as you have a regular sleep cycle, it should be fine. Make sure that you also have a designated sleeping space that's separate from where you work and make sure that it's comfortable. This helps your brain associate that area with rest and helps you fall asleep faster and easier without anxiety. Also, try to stay away from caffeine as bedtime approaches, as it can keep you awake and disrupt your sleep cycle. Finally, regular physical exercise can actually do wonders for your sleep quality. Being tired physically can help you fall asleep faster as it signals to your body that it needs to rest. Prioritizing these habits can help you get the rest that you need to feel your best and make sure that you're getting enough. There's also a couple of suggestions that we have to improve the quality of your sleep. You can consider these steps. Firstly, avoid using over-the-counter melatonin as a sleep aid. It's best to consult a doctor for sleep issues. Most supplements sold OTC in the United States contain way over the required amount of melatonin that you would need. And moreover, it could potentially be dangerous to take melatonin as the supplement industry is not really regulated. If you have a bed partner or roommate, ask them if you snore or have breathing pauses during sleep, as these could be signs of sleep apnea, and you would need to get treatment for that, as Emma mentioned earlier. Sleep apnea is a serious disorder, and it's best to get treated for it sooner than later, as it's comorbid with a lot of other health conditions. If you're sensitive to light or noise, try using blackout curtains or earplugs or an eye shade, as that can make a big difference. Try to avoid caffeine and large meals before bedtime, as they can really disrupt your sleep. Finally, try to see if you can establish a calming bedtime routine, especially if you associate sleep with anxiety, like reading or meditating. This can definitely help reduce stress before you sleep. And in case you suffer from insomnia, going to a doctor or getting cognitive behavior therapy for insomnia can actually help a lot. Implementing these simple habits can actually help you achieve a lot more restful and rejuvenating sleep. So that's about it. Thank you so much for joining our presentation today.